What's up guys? In today's video, we're going to be focusing on how to get a job in the automotive performance industry. It's a little bit daunting to get started in this industry at first. There's definitely a lot of things to consider, and if you actually want to pursue this career path. However, getting started, just getting your foot in the door is definitely a big first step to take. I'm going to explain to you guys my experience in doing it, how I got accepted into one of the biggest shops in SoCal, and my experience there, and just general tips that will help you guys achieve the same thing. So let's get right to it. One more thing to note is everything we're about to discuss is definitely applicable to a majority of different situations, whether you're looking to go into JDM or European or American Muscle. Whatever the case, it will definitely have an emphasis on performance, but you can apply this to any, mom and pop shop, even maintenance shops, whatever the case. This is basically going to be how to get your foot in the door. So my experience with that. Ever since I was little, I watched my dad wrench on cars.
Hold the flashlight still. I'm trying. I've been sitting here 20 minutes. My arms are shaking. You gonna fix this or not?
And myself, after I turned 16, I got my first project car. It was a Mitsubishi 3000 GT. It was a 1999. I did all the modifications I could in my little garage spot. Not really garage, but I guess you would call it like a parking spot.
Well, duh.
I didn't really have an enclosed garage with all this fancy stuff, so I had to work wherever I could, even public parking lots if I had to. So I learned how to work on cars doing that. That was a majority of my experience to begin with. I also had a Jeep and some other cars and yada yada, a lot of projects. So I had the determination to work on cars no matter my circumstances and where I could do it. I then realized this was something I wanted to do in life, whether it was technician work or whatever the case. I just wanted to be around the industry that modifies and deals with performance in cars. So I went to school. That was the first way I knew how. I took some automotive technology courses, did really well in those, took some welding courses, also did really well in those as well. And then I decided, hey, let's send an email out to every major shop I could think of in SoCal and just see what happens. This email basically consisted of my resume, a little bit about myself, my experience with cars and what my capabilities are, and I actually offered my help for free, basically. So this is one of the most important parts, is you have a bigger chance offering yourself for free, meaning a free internship or apprenticeship, whatever the case, in exchange for knowledge, in exchange for learning more, as well as an opportunity to get a job down the line. So I'm going to include a copy of what my email looked like so you guys can kind of get an idea. Don't maybe copy it word for word, but you guys get the idea. So after sending this email out, I waited about 2 weeks and I'd only actually gotten one reply from Mike at Precision Dynamics Motorsport in Costa Mesa. He's the owner. So he wanted to meet up with me for an interview, did that, went really well. He told me to start coming by, and I did. Every day after my other work, my job, every day after school or whatever the case. Anytime I had free time, I would go to Precision and learn. I learned how to work on a number of different BMWs and different systems and cars, more than I actually learned from school, to be honest with you, because it was very hands-on. And then everything just progressed from there. I ended up doing more admin stuff and yada yada.
Then yada yada yada.
Point is, you will grow wherever you end up if you stay with that company. So things for you guys to keep in mind now is, if you want this start, if you want to get your foot in the door, there's a number of ways to do it. It's not just the way I did it. If you're not in a position where you can offer your time for free.
A few moments later.
All right. My camera may have fallen, so let's just ignore that and keep going. So if you are not in a position where you can offer your help for free to a lot of these shops, like an apprenticeship, internship, you have a couple options. You can either go to school. Yes, that takes time, but you can obtain certifications through school. It also is a form of experience, technically. And for a lot of you guys that actually don't have a lot of experience personally with cars at home or whatever the case, it's a great place to start. I definitely learned a lot from school. A lot of it I did already know, but I guess you could say it refined that knowledge, made it a little more proper. So you can go the school route. You can also go the route of starting out as a kind of a starter position, even like, places that just do oil changes and brakes, or tire shops, whatever the case. There's even just normal automotive shops that don't focus on performance, especially down here in Southern California. There's a lot. There's more than there are performance shops. So your chances there will be a lot bigger. And that's, again, one way to get your foot in the door.
Open the door.
From there, your experience grows, your knowledge grows, and then you can potentially offer more to those performance shops. Now, one more thing I have to mention about performance shops that is important to keep in mind is a lot of these guys will work with high-end cars or high horsepower cars, whatever the case. These are cars you don't want to mess up on. Mistakes happen, obviously, everyone knows that, but they will not just hire anyone, even with no experience, who just really wants it and has that determination. You need to show some kind of skill set or something that you can bring to the table and show that, you know, you're not just someone who's gonna snap bolts all day and stuff like that. School is important for that reason. Also, the hands-on experience from another shop is important for that reason. And if you have any skill set that you learned at home, like let's say you did a lot of welding or stuff like that. In my case, I did a lot of chassis work on my 3000 GT, stripped out all the sound deadening and paint and just all that stuff. I redid the entire interior. It was like gutted. The Jeep, I did lift kits, so I have experience with off-roaders. And then my 335i was my first experience in German automotive, I guess you could say, world.
That
So I learned how to do some bolt-ons and just basic stuff, maintenance, things like that, spark plugs, all that. It's very different from region to region, like European to Asian to, you know, American cars. It's all kind of similar, but also kind of different.
Same, but different, but still same.
So if you are, you know, that for example is a talent. If you can work on those 3 different types of cars, that's something to market yourself with. If you know how to do that chassis work, that interior work, that's something to market yourself with. You know, bolt-ons, maintenance, whatever the case, just mention it, you know. It'll increase your chances. But again, keep in mind about these shops is that they will not just hire anyone. So one thing to keep in mind is if you are going to apply to these places and you want to work on these cool cars, put yourself in the position of those owners of those cars. If you had, let's say, a really nice like G80 M3, okay, like a 2022 G80 M3, you're the owner of that car. That's almost 100 grand right now as of this video, you know. Do you want someone who has never really been around cars in their life touching that car and wrenching on it?
That's a valve stem.
You know, like that's your baby. The thing to keep in mind about the cars at these places is that they belong to customers, and to those customers, to those clients, these are their babies. You know, put yourself in that position and look at yourself honestly and deeply. Do you see yourself working on those cars confidently? And, you know, for most people who don't have any experience, that's daunting. And you surely, if that was your car, wouldn't want someone like that working on your car. So that's why schooling is important and previous experience is very, very important. So keep those things in mind and you'll be fine in your application process. So to finish us off, I'm going to circle back to myself. I just want to tell you guys that I'm not an expert on this by any means. I'm not some, you know, big guy who's made it successful in the world or anything like that. I've made a lot of progress for myself and I'm very happy with that. And it's humbling to see how far I've come in about 4 years, going from internship to technician to service writing and then to manager. It's a big step, you know, considering where I was 4 years ago. I really needed a video like this to kind of push me in the right direction, show me the kind of things that I needed to do or think about moving forward and going into this industry. So I really hope this helps you guys, and if you have any questions at all, please drop them in a comment below. I'll do my best to get back to as many comments as possible. Wrapping up my thoughts on this industry, it's great. It's a really big industry to get into. There's a lot of jobs, a lot of positions available. Very fun. In my opinion, it's a little bit more rewarding than just doing, you know, your basic maintenance on cars. There's a lot to learn from that experience and that world as well. But if you truly are a gearhead and you like working on cars, wrenching on cars, modifying them, making them go fast, it's a wonderful industry to be in. I've met so many people who I never thought I would meet. Like, you know, I've been in front of TJ Hunt multiple times. That's someone I watched like 6 years ago. Never thought I'd be standing like right in front of him talking to him, you know. People like that, it's insane how life changes so quickly, you know. So send that email if you can. Go to school or go get a job someplace. Anything that can help you guys progress forward. Again, if you find any value in this video, if this helped you at all, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It means the world to me, and I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.